Breaking tonight at 11, another bombshell for the Carolina Panthers. Star linebacker and fan favorite Luke Kuechly will retire.
I still want to play, but I don't think it's the right decision. I've been with the Panthers now for 8 years, and it's never the right time to step away, but now is the right time for me.
His emotional farewell to fans sent out just hours ago after 8 seasons with the team.
Tonight, the support and love pouring in after that decision that Kuechly says he knows in his heart is the right one. You're watching Eyewitness News live at 11. Now, the Carolina Panthers and Luke Kuechly making that announcement at around 8:30 tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Erica Bryant.
And I'm Scott Wickersham. Luke leaving yet another huge change for the franchise. Tonight we have team coverage from our sports team on this decision. Let's head first to our sports director Phil Orban and Deshaun Brown. They're live outside Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah, Scott, and that emotional video is kind of tough to listen to, but just an absolute stunning turn of events today, and fans weren't the only ones surprised either. It's my understanding that while Luke made clear in that video that he had been considering this for a long time, it wasn't until today that he went in and informed owner David Tepper and head coach Matt Rule that he was in fact retiring. And Deshaun, the teammates that you spoke to seem to have the same impression.
Yeah, as soon as I had a chance to see that video and to hear from Luke, I did start reaching out to a few of the guys on the team, and one told me he had no idea this was coming. Obviously there was shock there, but also just disheartened now that a huge part of their team is gone.
And again, when you listen to the video, he seems to allude to it, but it is my understanding that his long-term health concerns is what played a part in making this decision now, because he does have a history of head injuries, Deshaun.
Over the past 3 seasons, it's documented 3 concussions that we know of, and over that time, Luke had also been trying to take some preventative steps. There was a Q collar that he wore, which is a special medical device designed to try to prevent concussions. Nothing as of late that we know of, but you know, this is a very physical game. He plays a very physical position. Sometimes it can be hard to quantify what the impact really is.
Yeah, if this decision had been made 2 seasons ago, after that kind of 3 concussion in 3-year span, I think fans would have understood it more, but he's been healthy the past 2 seasons. But concussions are so hard to quantify, and when you're the middle linebacker and you're making 100+ tackles a season, these are violent collisions, and we just don't really know the effect that it has on Luke every time he goes to make a tackle. And it's clear that he knows it was the right decision to make, but if you listen to him, listen to the emotion in his voice as he describes the timing of this decision.
I still want to play, but I don't think it's the right decision, so thought about it for a long time, and I think now is an opportunity for me to step away.
Yeah, and man, that's just tough to listen to. And Luke felt like he was going to be that constant next season, and this is an offseason full of turnover and full of turmoil. There's a new head coach, there's going to be a new front office, a new offensive coordinator was hired today, and it just felt like Luke was going to be there next season anchoring that defense.
I mean, that was the assumption going into the offseason. Even before that final game, I actually remember them just referencing who are some of those cornerstone guys, and you heard Christian McCaffrey and Luke Kuechly. But Luke was very clear also in his address today that all of the changes, including the coaching change, had nothing to do with this decision. Listen to what he had to say on that.
It's hard, but I hope to, still be involved in some way. And the biggest thing at this point now is to thank the people that have helped me get me there, from the coaches and the players to Coach Rivera to Marty, to Mr. Richardson for bringing me in, and now Mr. Tepper now. This decision has nothing to do with new coaches and Coach Rule. He's going to do a fantastic job. His track record's proven, but for me now is the right opportunity to move in a different direction.
It's certainly hard for all of us to hear this coming from Luke, but Phil, if there is a silver lining, I know we're trying to be positive here, there may be some in the timing of his announcement.
Well, Luke is irreplaceable, and that's evident by the fact that his picture hangs on the east side of Bank of America Stadium for everybody that drives by or that walks up on game day. But like you said, the timing of this, it's happening in January. So now the Panthers have all off season. So they have free agency to address this. They have the draft to address this. they have a new defensive coordinator coming in, and he's going to know that he won't have Luke Kuechly in the center of that defense. So again, if there is a silver lining in all this, it's that the timing gives the Panthers a chance to help soften some of this blow. But again, guys, you don't replace a Luke Kuechly.
You don't replace him, but yeah, we're certainly going to need somebody in there to be the leader of that defense. Phil and Deshaun, thank you very much. A lot of tweets coming out for people who have played with or coached Kuechly, many appearing just as surprised as we were by this decision tonight.
In fact, Greg Olson tweeted, quote, "Words cannot describe who he is as a person, friend, and teammate, and that it was an honor, is an honor to be his friend."
Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey thanked Kuechly, saying, "I'm so honored to have shared the field with not just the best player I've ever seen, but the best person I've ever met."
And then, of course, former Panther Thomas Davis and one of Kuechly's best friends saying, "The game will miss you as much as you miss the game." And then he said, "I love you." Kuechly has been one of the best defensive players in the NFL. His presence felt all over as he won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012.
Then the very next year, he won Defensive Player of the Year as the best defensive player in the entire league. He made 7 Pro Bowls and was named an All-Pro 7 times. 5 of them were first team.
And the new Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper only had 2 seasons with Kuechly, but went on to say that he could tell how special Kuechly is, saying, quote, "It's obviously going to be very difficult for all of us because we know that no player can replace what he has been for this organization for the past 8 years. His presence cannot be replicated." And all this comes about 1 week after the Panthers hired Matt Rule as their new head coach. Kuechly said this decision has nothing to do with Rule's hiring. He added that the new coach he thinks is going to do a fantastic job.
Shortly after the Panthers released that announcement from Kuechly, they switched their Twitter picture on the left, you see there, to a 59 for Kuechly's jersey, and on the right side, that's what they switched their background photo to. Luke there walking out of the tunnel at Bank of America Stadium, and the words "Thank you, Luke" written at the top. That support still pouring in tonight. You can see how other players are reacting to the news, and watch the entire video, Luke's emotional announcement, on our WSOC News app.